Hi everyone and welcome back to A Day in the Life. I'm Lizzie and we've got some amazing guests on our couch this afternoon and I'm so excited for you to hear about their story, who they are and what they've got to say. I tell you, when I say their story is unique, you are definitely not going to want to miss out on their podcast, what they've got to say, because a day in their life is got to be so different from the regular, the norm, but in such a kind and caring way. They are two inspirational women that are trailblazing their way through Southport in such a caring and nurturing way. So I want to introduce you to Wendy and Claire, and you have got a fabulous space. Would you like to introduce to everyone where you're from and what you actually do?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Lizzie. My name's Wendy.
I'm Claire.
And we are from Hope Funeral Care in Southport. We're based on Church Street, just at the back of Southport College. We are still very new to having obviously opened our doors to our wonderful community. We only opened on the 22nd of February last year, so we are very, very new. But with regards to the industry and the care and bereavement care as a whole, we've got a combined, over 30 years between us, with regards to obviously caring for families and being in the funeral industry. So.
Fantastic. Well, I'm so pleased that you came on today.
Thank you for having us.
We did bombard you a little bit with it being on camera, so
yeah,
you both look fabulous.
Thank you. Claire's mortified, but apart from that, it's all good.
So, for everyone that's starting to watch A Day in the Life, this podcast is very much about getting you to slow down, to really pause in your day and start to recognise that not everybody is living their best life every single day. With AI, with social media, you know, those pressures of having to really live up to these high expectations, you don't need to. This is about getting you to slow down, to introduce you to people that are living, breathing, working within your local community, that are working through their lives, smashing it on a day-to-day basis, but also learning the undertones, the hard work, the dedication, and how some days you just need to re-ground yourself, maybe rework how something is, and definitely learn. Like you say, you've got, you know, a lot of experience within, you know, the field, but going at it on your own, there must have been some really big learning curves.
Oh, absolutely.
And sort of,
I think we wanted to hit the reset button on funeral care, and to do that in the way that we both passionately believed was the correct way to do it, and that is when care doesn't stop when somebody dies, and that is ultimately what happens at Hope Funeral Care.
Yeah.
And we wanted a house, a home, and to bring it back to, you know, our home is your home.
Yeah.
And quite holistic, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a really powerful message, and you know, we have put out into the notes of the podcast that, you know, that you were a funeral home, that the conversation today would obviously touch on death.
Yeah, of course.
For some people, death is quite a triggering topic. Yeah. So we wanted to really highlight that that's what this episode was about.
Yeah, of course.
But, you know, what we're wanting to get from today's podcast it's not about death as being an event. It's about death being a part of life. And for people that are watching the podcast, you know, if there is somebody at the moment that you feel would really benefit and this story resonates with them, we'd love for you to share it. You know, maybe send it in a text message. You know, I really thought that, you know, some of the messages from this podcast would resonate with you. We would absolutely love to get this message of life out there. And really showcase what it is that you're doing that's different. Yeah. And hopefully throughout the next sort of 45 minutes, we can really help people to put a different perspective on what death might be for a lot of people. So
absolutely.
What I think you try to start with is maybe just talk about what a day in your lives currently look like. And what that, in terms of your maybe business, you know, and what people can get from that.
Yeah, of course.
No day's the same.
Every day is, every single day is, I'd say sometimes every hour is different. It brings different dynamics, different challenges. we are, I mean, working together as a team anyway, that's very rewarding, I would say, from a partnership point of view, and compared to where we've come from previously. So just being able to work together, it's very female led, it's our way. And then we get in. We're human beings at the end of the day. We get in. Usually I've run ragged on the school run. Claire's usually in before me every day. I tootle in after dropping the kids off at school. We kettle on, heating on.
Dog ball out.
Anyone who comes to who visits Hope will find me in my slippers. That's like a rule, not to keep the carpets clean. That's just something that I do. Cup of tea. Claire's got a thing about warming cups. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, warm. Apparently, it's nicer if you warm your cup before you actually make your drinks. So that when you put your mouth to it, it's warm. Who knew that was a thing? But there you go, guys. If you ever want to,
you do.
Yeah, and now I do like a warm cup, I've got to say.
So do you just run it under like the tap, or is it?
No. There's
a method. Please share that method.
Our electricity bill must be absolutely off the
scale.
It's not going to be a good carbon footprint. Yeah, so you warm the cup through with boiled water, and then just leave it to stand, and then basically once we're ready to make our cup of tea, it is ready to go.
Wow.
The cup's warm, so there you go. So you'll always get a warm cup when you come and visit us. No, we don't.
Very true.
Always.
Yeah. And they could be coming in different kind of emotional states or different kind of things. So having that there and ready is,
I love that our conversations about cups and tea. Obviously we do it. I would like to disclose that we do an awful lot more than offer you a warm cup. However, we have a brew. We get together and kind of offload anything really, anything in our personal life. Yeah. We have a good little catch up in the mornings. We run we make sure our beautiful funeral home is pristine. Claire, again, there's quite a pattern here I'm noticing. Okay. She likes lines in the carpet with the hoover, so she's usually on it with that. We go around lighting the candles. We have a memorial candle which we light religiously every single morning, and that is almost, I don't know about you, but when I light it, it is an instant kind of snap of that reflective moment of when we light the candle. I do always have a little bit of a moment of like peace and tranquility and memory of kind of everybody who we've cared for since we've been open. And we get the place all ready. The place smells immaculate. It is immaculate, isn't it? And then our offices, because we wanted a home from home environment, the actual funeral home itself, everything where the family is welcomed into is downstairs, obviously for accessibility reasons. So we don't have any desks downstairs. We said, didn't we, that we didn't want to have an office environment for families to come into. So both of our offices are upstairs. So that's usually where we go to our little base, have our cup of tea in our warm cup, and just basically talk about maybe what's happened the previous day. And it's really, really important that we kind of brief each other on the day ahead. Especially we've got obviously a funeral service, because it can get quite chaotic quite suddenly, obviously, when we know that we're obviously caring for a funeral that day. We'll have our hearse and limousine drivers.
The place gets very busy.
It does. So again, the kettle's on for
and I suppose like you're there to make sure that all runs seamlessly, and that families won't see that chaos.
And making sure obviously as well that we look after our team, to make sure that they know that go and help yourself. If we've got time to make them a brew, we'll make them a brew, but make sure that we're facilitating them. We do have an actual.
We are hospitable, aren't
we? We are, because at the end of the day, it's important. We're out for quite a long time. 9 times out of 10, we're out for a good few hours on a funeral. So go the low. Make sure they know they can access a cup of tea and a biscuit. We'll do the butty run shop if we know that we've got a long day ahead. And touch base with the team as well, and just catch up with them and see how they are, and then
let them know about what.
Certainly brief them. Obviously briefing's massive, because there's nothing worse than us being completely content with who we're dealing with and what family we're caring for on that day, but it goes a long way to have your whole team know who we're caring for, the family names, the immediate family, who's going to be in the limousine, etc., because then you've got that personal touch from the get-go.
Definitely. So it sounds so grounding for you as a start of a day, you know, that sort
definitely.
of, you know, almost ritual in place, you know, the little touches about the lines in the carpet, the slippers, the warm mugs.
Yeah.
Those in itself is bringing your personalities to the forefront, which I think is so important for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I think, you know, death can be quite a scary topic.
Yeah.
It can be something that for a lot of people might occur quite suddenly to them,
Yeah.
and they're kind of thrust into a world that they weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
And I think for you to come across as so human, that from a lot of people that are watching this will really warm to that.
Yeah.
Because as you said, you've got lives before you turn up.
Yeah, of
but
course
as
we
soon as
have.
you turn into that, like you say,
Yeah.
the candle goes on and it's switching into
Yeah.
professional, here we are, and this is what our job is for the day. And I think that's so important, but also empowering
Yeah.
for you both as well, to have that as your backdrop.
Yeah.
And
Pride ourselves,
yeah.
don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and your place does smell amazing. When
It
you know,
does.
it really does. I don't know what you've got in there, but
Secret.
yeah. So I suppose one of the things that I'd like to sort of touch on is, what part of your day might people be most surprised at? Is there something that sort of occurs that you're able to share, that people might not know that that's part of the service that you offer, or part of something that you do, whether it's to support a family, support that individual.
I personally would say that because Claire and I, we do have obviously a team, but ultimately Claire and I do everything.
Yeah.
Everything. So
From start to
yeah, so obviously from the very first call that we take from a loved one to entrust our care, that's where obviously we don't have any outlay to then instruct
Somebody else.
external people
Yeah.
or somebody else. So I think sometimes from a family's point of view, especially maybe because we're two ladies, I think when we are instructed to bring somebody into care who perhaps has died in the community, and we aim to be there within an hour, I think when we actually ultimately turn up at their front door or at the nursing home door, etc., they're quite surprised because they've just spoken to us an hour ago, and then here we are, and it's like, oh, and I think it's still quite a male.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're breaking
Dominated.
through a stereotype that a
Yeah.
lot of people have,
Yeah.
and without being
Absolutely.
disrespectful in what I'm going to say, when people have rang, they probably think that they've spoken to someone's PA
Yes.
or their receptionist.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't mean to be derogatory when I say
Absolutely.
that, but
Absolutely.
like, you
and
know,
I think from a capability as well, not to say that there's like anything sexist or anything like that, but from a capability, bringing somebody into care, obviously bringing a deceased person into care, it's quite you know, it's very, very dignified, and obviously we are extremely careful, but it's quite manual, isn't it? It's quite a task to obviously bring somebody from, you know, out of a building into our funeral home. So I think they kind of look at us, especially me. I'm only 4'10".
I was going to say, both of you are sat down.
You must only just be hitting 5 foot.
Yeah.
So I think from a capability and obviously a manual side of things, that's where our expertise, our training, and ultimately our equipment. That's why we make sure, equipment-wise, we've got the top of the range equipment.
And that's been noted, hasn't it?
It has been noted, yeah, and that's where we've obviously really wanted to. In our first year, we kind of said, look, you know, we've opened up, and we just want to invest back into obviously the company. So that was one of the first things, wasn't it? Obviously, stretchers, you know, it's not the kind of normal thing that you might talk about, but our stretchers are such a huge tool for us and a lifeline to us, and the quality of things and equipment like that is the difference between being able to do your job to a certain standard, and then, you know, such as people don't think about when somebody dies, perhaps that there isn't a lift, or it's very, you know, there's very tight turning circles, and that's where our equipment comes in, because we know that we can absolutely trust that it does the job, and that's where we can confidently go into any kind of scenario and know that between us we've got every type of equipment to be able to do and to do it properly.
Fabulous. Well, we're going to pause there for a minute whilst we go and hear from some of our fabulous sponsors. We are going to go and make a cup of tea. I'm going to see if I can learn about the warming mug technique.
Claire will warm it for you.
We offer you to do the same. Speaking about death can be quite a heavy subject. If you need to take a pause, take a break from the podcast, please do so. Share it with somebody that may need this in their lives, may need to hear some of this as a supportive message, or actually just to, you know, put something in place for the future. So breathe, and we will be back in 5. Welcome to A Day in the Life, our sponsor slot. This is where if you have a business, we could be featuring you. This is an opportunity to showcase what your business does, have it highlighted by us. So get in touch at A Day in the Life, and this is where your business could really shine. And we are back. We've gone and had a cup of tea. We haven't helped ourselves to the biscuit jar, which was incredibly difficult to avoid, but we're trying our best, aren't we, ladies?
We absolutely
We really are. It's hard work going at the start of the year.
It really
but
is.
we will get there.
We
and
absolutely.
I don't quite know what summer body I'm trying to get ready for. But,
It's fine.
I'm just trying my best not to eat everything that I see. So we are back with Wendy and Claire from Hope Funeral Care. We have highlighted quite clearly that this is a topic around death being an extension of life. But just so that you're aware, please pause, stop whenever you need to, and breathe. You know, this isn't meant to be a scary conversation.
No.
And I feel like we have to showcase this to people because it can be quite triggering. But ladies, I've met you a number of times now. Death has terrified me to my very core. And yet both of you, on separate occasions, have made me feel at ease about it. And I think that is what you both bring.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of grounding presence, that so relatability, I suppose, that, you know, life is one big journey that we're all on.
It is.
But
It's delicate.
And that it needs to be, you know, really treasured.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I think that you both take real pride on is that, you know, your aftercare, your sort of next steps with the family, and that it doesn't stop.
It doesn't end at the funeral.
No, it doesn't. That's something we're really trying to focus on, isn't it? Especially going into our second year. We've just most recently kind of collaborated with a wonderful lady called Nikki, and we've created Healing with Hope, which takes place at Hope Funeral Care at the funeral home, and it actually takes place every Saturday morning without fail at 10 o'clock. Ideally, people do need to book on. Now, when I say book on, it doesn't mean they have to kind of, you know, go through an online form or anything like that. Just for numbers, just to make sure that we're not over, obviously, subscribing people, and we've got a seat for everybody. But it's just a couple of hours. I mean, it tends to be an hour of Nikki doing direct work as a group with people, and it's really important to stress that this isn't a service that's open to only people who have come to Hope Funeral Care for whatever, you know, over whatever period of time. This is to our community and beyond. It doesn't even have to be Southport. You know, it's a place where it's an open door, even if it's just somewhere for people who just need to offload with regards to bereavement.
So I was going to say, is it like the bereavement support, being able to talk about loved ones, being able to sort of, I don't know, support grief? Is that
and
the right
to also
phrase?
for others to be in an environment with other people who are in very similar boats. Everybody's grief is different. There's never, ever somebody's journey that's identical, no matter what the circumstances are surrounding of how someone's passed away.
They've all got something in common.
But they've all got something in common, which is obviously that they've lost somebody. So we found that from doing this, they get a lot from the professional guidance and advice of what Nikki gives, but then also ultimately friendships are formed, which is you can't, you know, and
it's been incredible.
It really has, and we've got now people who not only come to our gathering, but they might say, oh, we met at Marks and Spencer's Cafe and we had a coffee, and you're finding that those relationships are forming then and those friendships, and they take so much from it, don't they?
They do.
Nikki is amazing. Nikki has been through her own grief journey, and she is fully qualified. But she's able to do these sessions, and then afterwards we have biscuits, we have copious amounts of cups of tea and coffee, and we just have a good chat really at the end of it. But we're also wanting to incorporate some different styles and techniques going forward, such as sort of through artwork and creativity almost. So there is a massive gap for bereavement care. There is a massive, there is. I mean, there's some, Queen's Court Hospice, we know, a lot of charities will always try their absolute best to support families after.
Sometimes there's nowhere for people to go.
Sometimes there's nowhere, depending on obviously, the circumstances, but
which seems so surprising when you say that out loud.
Yeah.
Because this is something that is going to occur in every single person's life.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Everybody is going to need that service.
Yeah.
I think that was identified in Southport anyway, especially with BB's Hive.
BB's Hive. I mean, they've absolutely.
That was why that was created.
Yeah.
There are gaps out there where people aren't supported, or don't want to often reach out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or go to the normal place.
Yeah. And I think timescales as well is massive, because a lot of these organisations can offer a certain amount of sessions.
Okay.
But once those six sessions have expired, the door's closed. Whereas our place, hopefully, as long as, and again, we've said if we get too many people, we'll just expand the days. We won't restrict people. So we just wanted people to know that this is something that we can offer. It is technically free of charge. We do ask for a small donation, but again, that will be a charitable donation. And so far, so good.
Absolutely.
But just to get the word out there, to say to people that this is something that is available to you. You do not have to have used our services.
And sometimes that's good for people. To come somewhere
different.
Different.
I can imagine.
Not revisit the
same place.
Absolutely.
It's not a we decided with Nikki that she looked at places like the social clubs, the conservative
church
halls, all a little bit cold, a little bit unwelcoming, a little bit echoey. I think
she walked in, didn't she, and said straight away, this has got the right feel. And then we had obviously our reservations, didn't we? How would people who are dealing with grief, how would they feel about coming to a funeral home ultimately? But we don't really feel that it's been an issue, do we, so far?
Fabulous. Well, I'm sure that those kind of hurdles and that feedback, if ever it should come, you will listen to it and you will evaluate it and you'll move forward from there. So the fact that it's filling that gap, it's supportive, and like you said there, grief isn't linear, and some people don't need the sessions when they're given. They might need to come back to it in 6 months' time. They might not be ready to deal with that grief when it's been put to them in a specific time sector. So to be able to drop in 1 week, you feel able to come, then another not. I think it's offering that flexibility for people within their grief, which is great. So we're just going to have another little pause there. We'll hear from another fabulous sponsor, and we'll be back in a second. We want you. If you are a local business in Southport or the surrounding area, we have no preference. We would like to showcase your business. We are all about collaboration, supporting, and also showcasing what businesses have to offer. So if you want to be in this slot during the podcast, get in touch and let us make you shine. Ladies, so far I found everything that you've said so interesting, and I want to sort of dig deep a little bit more into now with your work, with your business. Like, as you've stated, 2 women in an industry that is predominantly male. But what makes you different? What's making you sort of stand out, or even just what you wanted to bring through into what you're currently doing?
I think when we chose the building, which did take a lot of looking for, and Fittings helped us, didn't they?
Yeah, they
We're
did.
going to give it
Shout out to Fittings.
They knew what we wanted and they found it for us. Gail was wonderful, but I think doing the services at Hope
Yeah.
Funeral services aren't a menu
Yeah.
like some of the bigger corporates or bigger companies, where you have, you know, your basic, your traditional, or your bespoke. We've tried to de-menu things, doing a service at Hope and giving that, not a gap in the market, where a family can enjoy a service of up to 30
Yeah.
at whatever time of day they want, with a celebrant for, you know, 20ish minutes in a homely environment, and then have a direct cremation the next day.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of media about direct cremations. I mean, there's some very clever advertising, but if you actually look at the pricing and for what you get,
Yeah.
we feel we
Yeah.
have absolutely,
We've filled that gap, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted to do. So, for just to touch on obviously pure direct cremation, people who aren't aware of what a direct cremation is basically your loved one is collected, and then the cremation takes place without anyone in attendance, and then their ashes are returned. So it's a very simple. It became quite popular after, obviously, since COVID.
Yeah.
Because people weren't given the option, and people couldn't narrow it down to 5 people to attend a service. So they opted for a direct cremation, and since then it's been something that is available to families, and it is becoming more popular, I would say. However, you've got two aspects of a direct cremation. You've got it for a finance point of view, that people simply don't have the funds. Or you've got the fact that either the person who has sadly died or the family insist on a simple
send-off.
Yeah. And that is absolutely understandable and respected, and that is what we do, and that is what we follow at all times. However, for the financial side of things, families will come and say, we don't have any other option, we've got to go for a direct cremation. And that's where Claire and I thought, hang on, there's got to be something else that we can do, because our kind of outlook on things was that you shouldn't put a price on being able to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's,
you know, no matter what.
And that must weigh heavy on quite a lot of people.
It does.
Well, it did, and there was a lot of research after COVID that went into the people
of mental health.
Do need funerals.
Yeah, for the closure.
I was going to say, it doesn't allow you that closing of the door. They were there 1 minute, they're now not there. But where are they?
Yeah, and a funeral service,
you know, your brain, I think, needs a bit of time to catch up.
Absolutely. A funeral service is obviously ultimately to honour and celebrate the life of that person who has died, but also it is that closure and that beginning of that grief journey for a family, of that opportunity to say goodbye and the everything that follows afterwards. So we got our heads together, and that came into the building with regards to, we needed a space big enough to be able to accommodate a chapel to hold 30 people. And what we're trying to get across to people is, financially, it is a price where, if you compare us to the likes of Pure Cremation, which is a big national company, we are considerably cheaper to actually have a service at Hope followed by a direct cremation than just their standard direct cremation service. And that is, from our point of view, something that we really strongly want people to be aware of, because we need people to know that there is an option.
There is an option.
There is an in-between. You know?
And I suppose, like you say, you're going against big advertisement campaigns that are done in a way for people to sort of, I don't know, you want to be doing the right thing. I think that's what everybody that is coming to you, or a different service, they are trying to honour the wishes of that family member.
Absolutely.
And you are trying to just showcase that you can still have that human element, that grieving ability, that sort of really nice surroundings as well, and being able to celebrate without it being, for some people, a big palaver as well, because some people just don't want that. That's not how they lived in life,
and that's
so they don't want
to reflect that
what they
after
want
they died, of course. And I think it's really hard to just describe it. You have to see a service at Hope Funeral Care, because there's something really, really special about it, whether it's because you haven't got necessarily a service before and after like you would at a crematorium.
So you're not being rushed, and you're not as you're leaving, the cars coming in, and
it's a very relaxed and it's very intimate, and it's really special. It's really, really special to see.
Yeah.
And
they can sit in the chapel with a cup of tea.
They can. They can, yeah. And the loved one is there, you know, it's not a case of, you know, the sat in a chapel remembering. The coffin is there, as long as the family want that. And I just think it's something that has been so well received. And a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are going away and saying that we want people to know that this is an option. And likewise, it might just be a family that a very, very small family. There might not be, you know, 5 or 6 people, and that in a setting at the crematorium is, you know, that can seat 120 people. You've got
very alone.
It's a big space to fill. So to do that just in the chapel at Hope is perfect.
Yeah, and a really lovely sort of setting.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
Yeah.
So I suppose for people that are watching at the minute, if you need to at this point, take a bit of a pause. Why don't you, during this break, actually check out Hope Funeral Care, have a look on their website, you know, they can come and have a meeting, have a chat.
Absolutely.
Through.
Our door is literally, obviously, of course, we're caring for loved ones, we're a running business, but we encourage people to come through our door and just have a cup of tea with us, meet us, get to see that we are just 2 very normal human beings, you know, 2 ladies that care, and have a look round the building, you know, because whether you're being faced with the potential of a bereavement, or whether it's just something you've got unanswered questions, just come and see us. Yeah. Come and see us and just ask those questions.
They're very, very good at debunking any myths. You know, you very much do lift the curtains, as it were.
Yeah, we do.
You know, on sort of some of those really detailed and more intimate questions that people might have. And we haven't really gone into too much detail today, but, you know, certain things like nail polish colour.
Yes.
You know, I think, like, you know, at the minute my nails aren't done, and I hate that. So I would hate to go into the next, whatever the next is, without my nails done. But I would certainly not want to colour red on it. So I would also be quite specific.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that you do, which I think a lot of people won't necessarily know that there are options. Yeah. So, you know, if you do have questions, these ladies will answer every single one of them in a very open and honest way.
Yeah, of course.
You know, also, if you don't want to know, don't ask.
No.
I think there's also that as an option. You know, you don't need to know everything in life. You don't have to know every, you know, thing that goes on behind the scenes. But if you're interested and it helps you feel a lot calmer, ask away. Ask away.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, really deep, like, make death less scary, I think, is the main key there. Ladies.
Yes.
We've obviously talked a lot about death. Death can be quite heavy for a lot of people, and you work so closely within it. Like you say, it's not a new venture in terms of your working life, but a new venture together. How has working closely with death changed maybe your outlook on how you live your own lives? Has it impacted? Do you see it differently?
Yeah. I don't think you can work in any aspect of bereavement care without it affecting you, because at the end of the day we're human beings.
Absolutely.
But also, as you say, Lizzie, for it to have a impact
on realising your own mortality.
I think. Definitely. I think even I always have I've always had an outlook of, you might be stressing about like putting on some a few pound over Christmas, or you might be worried that your bank account isn't necessarily as flush as you'd like it to be. And I always say that if you're not in that position, obviously, of if you've got your health, you've got everything. Yeah. So to be respectful, if you're not in our care, so when we leave the building, that ultimately be grateful for being alive. It sounds like such like a cliche, but just the small things. They seem big, of course they do. We all worry about like how we look, and we all worry about money.
We value things in a different way, I think.
We see day in, day out how fragile life is. Yeah. And it can sound a cliche, it can sound, niche, but ultimately we see firsthand every single day how
someone can go to work with a packed lunch on the back and they don't come home.
And then they're in our care. Yes. And the effect of that has on people and families. And ultimately, as long as we can put the key in the door, lock up, go home, as far as I'm concerned, we're winning.
Yeah.
Because, you know, so to not take, and I've said, it's, of course, we worry about life. We're known for being warriors.
Yes.
You can't not worry about your lifestyle and the challenges it brings. But ultimately, if you've got your health and you're getting up every single morning, then you
make the most of it.
Make the most of it. Literally, you know, it is so fragile, and if you've got it, grab it by both hands and run with it.
Yeah.
And don't stress the small stuff.
I think it's so powerful, like you say. For some people, some of those are real throwaway lines, but when you're actually living in that and you absorb them, they really are mantras to live by. You know, and it does make your shoulders come down a little bit, and you can see your day in a different outlook, in a different viewpoint.
Absolutely, we can start our day and something in our private life might be, you know, pretty tough, and then we'll sit with the family for a couple of hours and then realise, actually, my day's not as bad as yours. So, you know, stop for a moment and reassess.
Well, that's it. And I suppose, you know, the podcast in itself, what we wanted to really highlight was that life for everybody isn't that song and dance all the time.
Absolutely not.
It is about that sort of grind. It is about the fact that you have to work hard. You ladies are not only, you know, you've got families, you've got lives, you know, you've got pets to care for, you know, and then you are putting on that extra care to look after other people as well. And that in itself, that takes a toll that both of you are not only doing in such a way, but with a smile, with a presence of mind. And I think what maybe a lot of people are seeing, and I hope that they are, is that you're so grounded within that, you're present. And I think in a world where a lot of people are just comparing or watching, or you ladies are grounded in the present day. And I think if anybody takes anything away from today and listening, it's about how being present and grounded can really emphasize your true values.
Definitely.
You know, showcase that you're doing things well, showing things, you know, off what skills you've got, and you're proud of them. And I think that's so important. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
It's been absolutely brilliant. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to a quick little break. We're going to see one of our sponsors, and then we're going to come back for a quick fire round of questions. So you best be ready.
We're ready.
Are you looking for a unique new place to showcase your business? Well, this could be it. We are building a brand new podcast where we want to showcase local people, local stories, and your local business. So want to be in this sponsor slot? Get in touch today. And we're back. We're ready to up the tempo, up the energy, and talk about everything fast. Hope you're ready, ladies.
I think
I've only got little legs.
Luckily, I'm not going to chase you. So, quick fire round. These can be highlighted spots around Southport, local area, whatever it is. If you want to talk about your home, then you can. It's totally up to you. So, favourite spot for a breakfast or a brunch?
Ooh.
I'm going to say home.
I'm going to say home for breakfast. Well, that's so you can stay in your pyjamas, isn't it? Yeah, I'd probably favour that. But I'm a bit of a remedy girl, remedy in Churchtown Village.
Yeah, bed bagels, halloumi cheese.
Yeah, no, full English for me. Full English for me, but it's a slim line these days. But still good. Still good. So yeah, nice remedy breakfast.
Fab. How about favourite spot for having like a sundown or an evening drink?
Ooh. I'm going to go with Coast at Birkdale.
Yeah.
Yes, we went there. We had a little gathering there, didn't we, for our kind of pre-Christmas
really
staff get together, and it was lovely.
Yeah.
Really nice, gorgeous setting, gorgeous
nice
food.
Yeah.
I had to say their Christmas decorations were
they were
stunning.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so well done. They were very nice.
Well done, Coach.
Favourite place to go for a walk, or somewhere where you like to go that maybe just grounds you?
I'm going to say the Lake District. That's
I was
not local, is it?
Fabulous.
I was going to say none at all. Me going walking, Lizzie.
Right.
No, any form of physical activity. I guess if I had to, though, it's got to be the Marine Lake, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be the Marine Lake. Park up, get out, walk it.
Nice little
And a
trundle.
little
You blow the cobwebs away there, don't you?
hot chocolate in Silcox or something like that. If I've got the kids, then it's into Funland.
Yeah.
Spend
off we go.
£1,000 and then go home.
Fab. So off that then, maybe this is not the best start to go with, but is there like a sports club or a community group?
Is this a joke?
Is there a gym that you like to go to?
What time are you at body pump tonight?
Yeah, community group that you want to sort of give a shout out to that's maybe been supportive or needs a bit of a boost.
Slimming World.
There we go.
Steph at Slimming World, there you go.
That's what we
There
need.
you go. Look at me.
We've had a little bit of contact this year with Green Pastures.
We have Green Pastures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's all the unheard little groups
Yeah,
of Southport.
we've had our
Yeah.
because they've needed
That-
our care. We've had our eyes open to the care
What
that they
do.
bring,
Yeah,
which is you forget these smaller
yeah.
these smaller companies.
And these almost mutually you can respect and help each other
Yeah.
and find out more about, you know, these, and they don't have, you know, the platform to advertise
No.
and don't shout about themselves,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But I think we've learnt a little bit
Yeah.
more about.
And your networking group.
Yes,
Not
actually.
we're not on commission. We're not getting
No. But
we're not
no,
getting
that has
backhanders.
been.
But
Yeah.
the networking group.
It's been really good.
It's been like fantastic to.
It's welcomed us to Southport, hasn't it?
Yeah.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
That's,
Absolutely.
makes me feel great.
Good.
And then if you've got a friend visiting Southport or Birkdale, Churcham, whichever area, do you have a restaurant that you know that's where you take them to?
Were you taking me, Wendy?
Maybe we could go after here. I mean, I'm a church town village kind of girl. I would say so. Anywhere Latabella,
Yeah.
Grapevine, the Remedy. You know, even the Hesketh and the Bulge. You know,
Yeah.
you get in. And
Good.
shout out to Susie's as well.
Yeah.
Susie's. They've opened their doors recently, haven't they? And we had a like brunch there. Just before Christmas, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, I've only been able to get in there
Beautiful.
for a brunch. I haven't been for a dinner menu yet. It's been booked
Gorgeous
out.
settings.
Yeah.
Great staff, and the food was fab.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
There you go.
yeah, there we go. We got there.
Easy.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of panic halfway through, but
we don't like the exercise with a lot of food.
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's basically what I write about. Food and
Exactly.
people,
Yeah.
the best combination. So, ladies, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. Thank you for chatting everything sort of death, life and food and everything in between. I feel that, you know, for anyone that has been watching, please, as we've stated before, like, share, subscribe, send this to somebody that, you know, is in need of that nurturing care, support, whether it's something that they want to relax into. You know, it might be something where death for them is, you know, and within their family unit is a long way in the future, but actually it's taking the pressure off the family.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to think of again. It can be boxed away in a lovely,
Yeah.
neat little package that these ladies will curate for you from start to finish. So thank you so much for having
you for
that
having us.
caring part of the community.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you for
it's
that
our- it's our honour,
aftercare.
isn't it?
It is our honour.
And yeah, we'll hopefully have you on again in a year's time. You can tell us the
Yeah,
next
we'll
business
see
growth.
more,
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you next time.